Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a deep breath and listen closely, not just with your ears, but with your soul. Because what we're about to talk about isn't just important, it's life-changing. It's something too many people ignore, excuse, or downplay. Something that silently eats away at your peace, your confidence, your energy, and even your identity. We're talking about toxic people. Yes, those individuals who don't leave bruises on your skin, but leave cracks in your spirit. The ones who don't yell but still manage to make you feel small. The ones who smile in public and sabotage you in private. And the hardest part? They're often the ones closest to us. Family, friends, lovers, people you trusted, people you depended on. You see, toxicity isn't always loud. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it's subtle. It hides behind fake concern, under the disguise of tough love, or within sweet words that carry sour intentions. And if you're not paying attention, you won't even realize what's happening until one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize who you've become. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be real with you. This isn't just about relationships. It's about your life, your mental clarity, your emotional freedom, your right to exist in peace. Toxic people will drain your joy, dim your light, and convince you that you're the problem, when in reality, you've just been too kind, too patient, and too forgiving for far too long. But today, that ends. Today, we speak truth. Today, we rip the mask off the manipulation. Today, we stop minimizing what hurts us simply because it doesn't leave visible scars, because your soul feels it, your mind knows it. And deep down, your heart is begging for freedom. It's time to stop excusing bad behavior just because someone is close to you. Blood doesn't give someone the right to poison your peace. Love doesn't mean accepting disrespect. And loyalty doesn't mean staying silent while you suffer in the background of someone else's chaos. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. You deserve relationships that build you, not break you. That celebrate your growth instead of fearing it. That offer real love, not emotional manipulation dressed up as care. So if you've been feeling off, if you've been doubting yourself, if you've been walking on eggshells around someone who claims to care, this message is for you. You are not crazy, you are not too sensitive, and you are not alone. This is your wake-up call. This is your permission to let go. This is your moment to choose you. Because toxic people may have dimmed your light, but they didn't put it there, and they don't get to take it away. The silent damage toxic people do. Let's start with a truth that's hard to swallow. Toxic people don't need to scream at you to destroy you. They don't have to hit you, threaten you, or curse at you to cause damage. Sometimes, the most dangerous people in your life are the ones who smile to your face, but slowly chip away at your soul behind the scenes. They come disguised as friends, lovers, even family. Since they play the role well. They know what to say, how to act, and when to apologize, just enough to keep you holding on. But underneath that mask is a spirit that's draining yours, a presence that makes you feel heavy, a voice that makes you question your own. That's how toxic people destroy you, not all at once, but little by little. They criticize you under the name of just being honest. They belittle your goals and call it being realistic. They manipulate you into thinking you're the one with the problem whenever you try to set a boundary. And it works. You start second-guessing your decisions. You start apologizing for things that weren't even your fault. You begin to shrink yourself just to fit into their small world where only their needs, their opinions, and their emotions matter. Suddenly, you're no longer dreaming big. You're no longer speaking out. You're no longer you. That's not a relationship. That's emotional suffocation. That's psychological warfare. That's control, wrapped in care. And it's not love, it's toxicity. The saddest part, most people don't even realize it's happening. Because toxic behavior often comes in whispers, not shouts. It comes through guilt trips, subtle jabs, or being ignored when you don't do what they want. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day completely disconnected from who you are. Exhausted. Empty. Let this be your reminder. Real love empowers you. Toxic love imprisons you. Real friends lift you. Toxic ones tear you down in silence. Real connections feel safe. toxic ones feel like walking on eggshells. You are not put on this earth to be someone else's emotional punching bag. You are not born to be manipulated, drained, or disrespected. You are born with value, with purpose, with power. And anyone who makes you feel less than that, even subtly, even softly, is not your friend. They are a threat to your peace. It's time to stop making excuses for toxic behavior. It's time to stop normalizing emotional abuse just because it doesn't leave visible scars. Your soul feels it, your mind knows it. And deep down, your heart is begging for freedom. Protect your peace, even if it means losing people. Because the real loss is losing yourself while trying to keep them. Recognizing the subtle signs of toxicity. The problem with toxic people is that they don't always come with warning signs. They don't walk into your life wearing a red flag. In fact, they often show up looking like everything you ever wanted: charming, helpful, attentive, understanding. That's how they get close. That's how they gain access to your life, your heart, and your mind. But eventually, the mask begins to slip, and it starts small. You say something you're excited about and they roll their eyes. You share a dream and they plant doubt. You speak your truth and they twist your words until you're the one apologizing. You feel it in your gut, that tightness, that discomfort, that unease, but you dismiss it because they didn't mean it, right? That's the danger of subtle toxicity. It convinces you that you're overreacting. It teaches you to silence your instincts. It conditions you to tolerate what you once said you'd never allow. Here's the truth. Toxic people are master manipulators. They know how to make you feel guilty for standing up for yourself. They know how to gaslight you into believing you're the problem. They make you question your worth, your judgment, even your reality. And slowly, without even realizing it, you start losing parts of yourself. Your confidence erodes. Your joy fades. And your fire goes out. You begin living to avoid their anger. You tiptoe around their moods. You stay silent to avoid conflict. And worst of all, you start to believe that maybe this is the best you deserve. But it's not. You were never meant to carry the emotional weight of another person's brokenness. You are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to even admit they're hurting you. You are not selfish for wanting peace. You are not weak for walking away. You are brave for seeing the truth. You are powerful for choosing to heal. And you are wise for recognizing that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Toxicity doesn't always come wrapped in cruelty. Sometimes it's disguised as overprotection, as love bombing, as you're being concerned. But love that controls is not love. Love that manipulates is not love. Love that silences your voice and crushes your spirit is not love. It's fear. It's insecurity. It's domination. And you deserve better. So take a step back and pay attention. How do you feel around this person? Do you feel seen or do you feel small? Do you feel safe or do you feel suffocated? Do you feel free to be yourself or are you constantly editing your personality to avoid judgment? The answers are there, the signs are there. Your healing begins with the courage to see them clearly. Don't wait for the damage to become unbearable. Don't wait until you're emotionally drained to take action. Start now. Start by acknowledging the truth. Because you can't fight what you refuse to see. And you can't heal in the same environment that's making you sick. Reclaiming your power and setting boundaries. Toxic people thrive where there are no boundaries. They flourish in the cracks of your self-worth, in the silence of your unspoken needs, in the shadows of your fear to speak up. They take and take your energy, your peace, your time, until you feel like a shell of the person you used to be. But here's the truth that will set you free. You have the right to protect your peace. You have the right to reclaim your power. You have the right to say enough is enough. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it's survival. It's choosing to no longer abandon yourself to keep others comfortable. It's deciding that your emotional well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. But let's be real, it won't be easy. Toxic people don't respond well to boundaries. They will guilt trip you. They will play the victim. They'll say things like, "You've changed." Or, "I guess you don't care anymore." Why? Because your growth threatens their control. You have to stand strong, even when your voice shakes, even when it feels unconscionable, even when you're afraid of losing people. Because you might lose a few, but what you'll gain is far more valuable. Your clarity, your self-respect, your freedom. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates to protect what matters most inside you. They're your way of saying, this is what I allow and this is what I will no longer accept. Because love should never cost you your peace. Respect should never come with conditions. And connection should never make you feel caged. Maybe you've been told you're too much or too sensitive for standing up for yourself. But listen closely. You are not too much. You've just been surrounded by people who were never enough for the depth of your spirit. You're not too sensitive, you've simply grown tired of carrying other people's emotional baggage. This is your permission to stop explaining yourself. Stop defending your boundaries to people who benefited from you having none. Stop watering dead plants hoping they'll bloom. Some people are not meant to grow with you, they are only meant to show you what growth is not. When you reclaim your power, things shift. Your energy changes. Your focus sharpens. You start attracting people who respect your no, who support your dreams, who fuel your peace instead of feeding off your pain. It begins with one decision: to choose you, to choose healing over habit, to choose peace over drama, to choose growth over guilt. It's not your job to fix everyone. It's not your job to make toxicity comfortable. And it's your job to protect your light. Because toxic people didn't give it to you and they have no right to dim it. So let this be the day you draw the line. Let this be the season where your boundaries become your breakthrough. You owe it to yourself. You've been hurt, you've been drained, you've been silenced by people who never saw your value. But today, you rise. Today you make a powerful choice, not just to survive toxic people, but to thrive beyond their reach. Because here's the truth. Healing is not about fixing the toxic person, it's about fixing the damage they caused inside of you. You don't need closure from them. You don't need their apology. You don't need their permission to move on. You are enough without their validation. You are powerful without their approval. And you are free the moment you decide to stop playing small to fit inside their broken view of you. Toxic people want to keep you in a cycle of chaos because the more confused you are, the more control they have. But when you step back and silence the noise, you begin to see clearly. They weren't in your life to lift you, they were in your life to wake you, to push you to your breaking point so you could finally break free. Your silence now becomes strength. Your distance becomes discipline. Your growth becomes the revenge you never had to speak. Let go of the fantasy that they'll change. Let go of the guilt for choosing yourself. Let go of the belief that love must be painful to be real. Real love doesn't hurt like that. Real friendship doesn't manipulate. Real connection doesn't require you to lose yourself. You're not walking away to be cruel. You're walking away to survive, to heal, and to rebuild a life where you're safe, seen, and supported. Start by pouring into yourself. Invest in your mind, your peace, your dreams. Take back your mornings, your energy, your confidence. Begin that passion project. Hit the gym, read that book, learn that skill. Do the things they convinced you were too much or pointless. Because they were never intimidated by your weakness, they were intimidated by your potential. You don't have to announce your comeback. Just make one. Quietly, boldly, consistently. While they gossip, you grind. While they question, you elevate. While they doubt, you build. And before long, the version of you that allowed the toxicity will no longer exist. You will be stronger, wiser, freer. They might try to come back. They might notice your glow once you stop shrinking. But you will be so rooted in your worth, they'll no longer have access to your peace. So here's your reminder. You are not who they made you feel like. You are not your pain, your past, or your trauma. You are power. You are purpose. You are becoming. This is your time to rise, to rebuild, to reclaim everything they tried to take from you. Toxic people may have been part of your story, but they do not get to be the end of it. Ladies and gentlemen, you've made it to this point, and that alone says so much. It says you're ready. Ready to look your truth in the face. Ready to stop sugarcoating dysfunction. Ready to stop confusing love with control. And most of all, ready to reclaim your power from the people who never deserved to hold it in the first place. This isn't just about cutting people off, it's about cutting yourself free. Free from constant overthinking, the second guessing, the soul-draining conversations that leave you feeling less than. It's about walking away from the emotional tug of war that leaves your spirit bruised even when your skin is untouched. It's about standing in your truth, even if your voice trembles, even if you have to stand alone for a while. Let's be honest, healing doesn't feel like power at first. It feels like grief. It feels like doubt. It feels like letting go of something you once thought was safe. But that's the price of peace. That's the cost of clarity. And when you finally stop trying to fix what broke you, that's when true strength begins to rise from within you. There will be moments when you miss the familiarity of toxic people. Not because they were good for you, but because chaos was your normal. Don't confuse missing the routine with missing the person. Healing means learning how to exist without needing someone who once made you feel like nothing. It means choosing peace over history. It means choosing you over everyone else's comfort. You are not here to dim your light so someone else feels comfortable in the dark. You are not here to be understood by people who refuse to understand themselves. You are not here to save someone who would drown you to stay afloat. You are here to grow, to rise, and to live with your soul fully intact. And listen, there is power in boundaries, power in silence, power in choosing peace over performance. You don't need to make announcements. You don't owe explanations. Your growth will speak for itself. Advertise your productivity as you walk away from what drains you. You walk toward what fills you. You start attracting people who reflect your worth, not question it. You start breathing easier, sleeping deeper, and loving yourself louder. You begin to remember who you were before life taught you to shrink. So here's your final reminder. You are not too sensitive. You are not imagining things. You are not selfish for wanting peace. And you are not broken. You're breaking free. Your healing starts now. Your freedom begins today. And your new chapter? It starts the moment you say, I choose me. So stand tall. Speak your truth. Protect your peace. Let the toxic fall away like dead leaves in autumn, because your soul was never meant to live in the shadows. Find yourself, and never apologize for doing what sets you free.